Good evening guys, welcome back to the channel and another driving video. And if you notice the bonnet, you'll see that it's red. I am driving my freshly MOT'd Frontera. So yeah, if you've seen my last video, you'll see that I was driving to work this morning in my my Vauxhall Frontera called Trevor. I explained in the last video where he got his name from, so if you want to find out, go back and watch the last video. But yeah, I mean, basically I did the MOT on this 3 years ago, well nearly 4 years ago. I think it was January 2018, so it's around about January, February 18. It failed its MOT on brake pipes and a ball joint and missing fuel cap, and also the mirror was broke at the time, the mirror glass, and the casing was all smashed at the time. So nothing particularly major or difficult to fix other than the brake pipes. Now at the time I was in a position where I wasn't all that good financially, so I didn't want to start paying a garage to get the work done. So it kind of got shelved and sat to one side and kind of forgotten about for quite a while, and then I've gradually done bits and bobs, bits at a time to try and get things done. So one of the first things I wanted to do was teach myself how to do brake pipes, because brake pipes can be really expensive to pay a mechanic at a garage to do them. You know, bearing in mind what they are and how relatively easy they are to do, they're actually quite an expensive thing to pay somebody to do. So I thought to myself, you know what, it's a skill I want to teach myself. I want to learn how to do it. So I bought myself a brake pipe flaring tool, and I bought myself some rolls of brake pipe. I just realised my door's not shut quite right. That's better. I bought myself some rolls of brake pipe, and I set about practicing and learning how to do it, and that's the story basically. So I taught myself how to do it on Trevor. I did actually make a couple of mistakes, and I did have a couple where they went wrong and the end of the nipples broke off because I over tightened them, or I didn't lubricate them well enough as I was tightening them up. So it was a little bit of trial and error, but I learned, and it's a skill that I've now got in my skill set when it comes to working on cars. So you know, it's one of them things that I've taught myself, and I always think it's good to learn new skills with cars, because you can save yourself a fortune. You know, I always say to people, at least at the very minimum, try and teach yourself some basic mechanicking skills, because you can save a fortune. I know any friends who are mechanics or anything will probably say, no, don't do that because you're costing us money. But alright, I wouldn't recommend a novice goes ahead and does their own brake pipes. Definitely not. You know, you'd have to have a good bit of confidence in your ability to go ahead and start doing brake pipes on a car, because obviously they're a crucial thing that can be the difference between life and death for you and everybody else on the road around you. So, you know, if you're a novice, don't go ahead and make your own brake pipes. But, you know, just learning basic things like topping your oil up and changing your bulbs when bulbs go, and swapping your wiper blades, and just basic day-to-day maintenance. You know, like people pay people for fitting wiper blades. I'm like, you're paying somebody to fit yourself some wiper blades? Really? I mean, I know not everybody's mechanically minded, but if you can't change a set of wiper blades yourself, something as easy and as simple as that, should you really be driving a car? Don't mean to be funny, I'm not meaning to be arrogant or anything like that, but I know not everybody is mechanically minded. But yeah, I definitely think it's a good thing to to learn some skills, and I like to teach myself new things all the time. I mean, I taught myself welding. You know, I never had any lessons in welding. I'm not the best welder by a long way. Some of my welding looks like a pigeon's walked over it. You know, it's shocking, to be honest, some of my welding, but it's functional, it does the job, and it's strong, and all the welding I've done before has never failed. So I'm obviously doing something right. It's just not very aesthetically pleasing, shall we say. But yeah, I think learning new skills and teaching yourself new skills is definitely a good thing to do. Going back to Trevor, I want to talk to you about what it took to get him through the MOT. So you've probably seen my previous videos where I was doing the the guard for the fuel tank, the fuel tank cradle. I will do another video shortly showing the completed cradle and going through the whole process of how to do it. Because if you've got a Frontera yourself that's got a rotten fuel tank cradle, I've picked up some good hints and tips along the way doing it on my own truck that could be absolutely essential for you if you want to do it on your own. I basically found that the fuel tank cradle was completely rotten. It was just shot to bits, it was falling to bits, and it's difficult to get hold of the proper one for a Frontera because they're all just as bad as each other. They're all just as bad as each other. That were nice, that taxi deciding not to bother using his indicators, weren't it? Anyway, so yeah, so they're all just as bad as each other. So somebody suggested using one off of a trooper and then just modifying it. I just realised my window wasn't shut right, that's why I had a bit of wind noise. Getting the one off of a trooper and modifying it to fit. So again, there's quite a few videos on my channel showing the process of modifying a trooper, because obviously Vauxhall Frontera is basically an Isuzu. It's an Isuzu Rodeo in other countries, and it's also a Honda in America, parts of America. The Vauxhall Frontera is sold as a Honda, of all things, the Honda Passport, and the short wheelbase one is sold as a Honda Jazz. Very different to the Honda Jazz that we know in the UK and most other places. So yeah, I'm losing my train of thought a little bit because I'm driving. I'm trying to concentrate on driving and talk at the same time. Yeah, so the fuel tank cradle, so that was a much bigger job than I thought it was going to be. The actual doing the welding and everything wasn't too bad, but the prep work was a pain, getting the old hangers off of the old cradle, and then once that was all done, getting it to actually fit on the truck was a major pain in the ass too, because I don't know why, but it was just a bit of a struggle. I think the old one had been a little bit bent and twisted. Sorry, the new one was a little bit bent and twisted, so it was a little bit tricky to get it to line up just right. I did manage to do it though. Right, ball joint. There's a lot of my close personal friends and family know how much of a pain in the butt the previous ball joint was to do on the truck. It took hours upon hours upon hours upon days upon weeks, even into months, to get the ball joint to split. It would not split at all. So when I found out it failed its MOT on a ball joint, I was absolutely just livid, and I was like, oh my god, not another ball joint. But thankfully this one popped straight away. It came out, and it was a nice easy job. Look at that car in front with no lights on, by the way, just as a little digression again. No lights, very good, very clever. Yeah, so I did the ball joint, and then because the car had the MOT 3 years ago, nearly 4, and it had been sat on the drive all that time, he also developed another issue, which was totally and utterly rotten fuel pipes. I discovered that the fuel pipes were rotten all at the back end. So as well as having to do the brake pipes, I had to do the fuel pipes as well. Now the problem is, when I discovered that, it just made my heart sink, because I was thinking I'd got the brake pipes to do, which was bad enough, but then when I found out I had to do the fuel pipes as well, it was just like, oh my god, how much more? And again, he got shelved for a while, and I didn't touch him for a while. And I think a lot of people who work on old cars and do restoration projects and things can probably appreciate how that can happen. You know, you can be in this situation where you're doing a restoration project and then you find more problems that you weren't expecting to find, and it can be really demoralizing, and it can really set you back. And that's what it was with me. It just really set me back, and I just decided to leave him for another few months. Then I did a little bit again, then left him for another few months, and then, you know, gradually this year I've managed to get all these bits finished, and I just decided, you know what, let's just get him in for MOT. If he fails, he fails. If he goes through, he goes through. Fantastic. And as it happens, he's gone through, which is absolutely amazing. I'm actually just going to show you how nippy he is, because a lot of people wonder how fast is an old Frontera. Well, here we go. Totaling along quite happily, keeping up with everything. In fact, overtaking quite a lot of stuff. It's not the fastest vehicle to 60, but once you get up to speed, he goes pretty damn well, as you can see. I'm only undertaking that van because I'm coming off at this next junction. I wouldn't normally undertake, but he shouldn't be in that lane. He's lane hogging. I hate it when people do that. There's no reason why he couldn't be in this lane. So, got some little advisories on the MOT. 2/3 of the tyres are a little bit cracked within the tread, which I knew about. I mean, to be honest, I did think that they might actually fail the MOT on the tyres, but it's actually all right. I'm actually amazed as well that the brakes are working a hell of a lot better than they were. I don't know if the garage bled them for me. I did mention that the brakes were soft and spongy as anything and needed bleeding. I don't know if my mate Ryan, who I work with, I don't know if he spoke to the MOT centre and asked them to bleed them for me for free. I have no idea, but the brakes, they still feel a little bit spongy, but they're a hell of a lot better than they were this morning on the previous video. I know, it's a bit of a weird one, that. Oh, the one thing, one of the back brakes is binding a little bit as well. It's not binding enough to be an MOT failure. He's not put it down as an advisory because he knows that I'm a home mechanic and I will sort stuff that he finds. So he's basically said to me, I'm just letting you know one of the back brakes is binding a little bit. So I just need to sort that as well before I put him up for sale. But I need to give him a full buff. I need to do the cosmetic work. Need to put my rear arch trims back on as well, because I took the rear arch trims off to do the bit of welding on the back end of the sills. That's something else I had to do with the MOT as well. I forgot to mention that. So yeah, so basically he's now freshly MOT'd. So what next? Well, I would love to keep him. I really would love to keep him. He's a great truck. He's really fun to drive. Really good practical family bus. I mean, I've got a load of stuff in my girlfriend's back garden that needs clearing and taking to the tip, and this would be ideal. I could chuck everything in the back, take it to the tip and everything, but in all honesty, I don't want to start paying out loads of money to get it back on the road. I mean, as it is, I'm on, I've only driven him to and from work today because it's for an MOT. I don't want to start having to tax him and and everything else involved and all the cost. So now he's got the MOT, I'd rather just get the cosmetics done, get some fresh photos, get him advertised. I am going to buy a new battery because I'm running it on the Nova battery, and it did actually go flat when I was at the MOT, but it's because one of the terminals is actually loose on the battery, because it's the wrong battery. It's not got big enough terminals, so during the MOT it's actually the battery's gone flat. So I'm just being careful driving home that I don't stall or anything, just in case I can't restart. So yeah, I think I'm going to buy a new proper battery. I know that's not going to be cheap, but it'll be a good selling point. If I advertise him with a brand new battery, it'll be a good selling point. So I think it's money I'm just going to have to spend. Anyway, I'm actually going to shut up now because I'm aware of the fact that I'm just gassing on and not allowing you to just enjoy the ride in Trevor. This might be the only drive I do in him on film, because after this I might not drive him again. Quite sad to think, actually, this might be the last time I ever drive this truck. But we shall see. We shall see. Watch this space. I might decide to put him on the road over winter, so I've got a 4x4 to use over winter, just in, you know, get some use out of him, possibly, now he's got a fresh MOT. Then I might sell him with 10 months or 11 months MOT if I just use him for a month or something, or use him for a couple of months. We'll see. Anyway, drive time. Right guys, if you're still watching, thanks for still watching and staying with me. I'm quite amazed if you are still with me. You might have got bored by now with me gassing on, but thank you for anybody who is still watching. I'm just going to show you an acceleration out of a junction just so you can see what an old 1998 2.5 TDS Frontera accelerates like. Not bad at all. Like I said, not the fastest vehicle on the planet by any means, but for a vehicle that weighs like 2 ton and only actually has about 115 horsepower, it's all about the torque though, isn't it, with diesels? It's all about the torque. Handles pretty decently as well, you know, takes bends pretty well. Again, not a sports car, not a performance car, but never intended to be. Then a white car in front's doing 35 mile an hour in a 50 zone. This is actually a 50 limit. Oh, they're doing 40 now. Oh, careful, your head might explode. Oh God, they're going the same way as me. Chuff's sake. Right, look, see that sign? Oh my God, have you actually passed your driving test? But I'll let them off because there is a red traffic light down in front. I do apologise. There's me getting all mardy and yelling and stuff, but there is actually a reason that they're stopping. Anyway guys, now that I'm stuck in traffic temporarily, I'll leave it there for now. Thanks a lot for watching. Stay tuned for more content. Please like, browse, subscribe and share, and I'll see you next time. Cheers guys, bye.